Hi, so today we're here with Deb Ramirez, who was an integral part of the Pierce Tegrity team that went to the Tegrity User Conference in 2012 and has worked intensively with student recording. And so I thought it would be appropriate to get her insight from a faculty perspective on student engagement and using student recording. So with that said.
Hi, welcome, and I'm very excited to be here to address the many different ways and benefits of using Tegrity in the classroom as well as outside the classroom. I like to think about Tegrity as an all-encompassing technology teaching tool, which means when students are making the recordings also, they can be learning the use of Microsoft Office programs, and it also allows students to be very de-stressed, meaning instead of having a typical video camera in front of them, they also have the capability of doing student recordings in the home or in their lab classrooms. And with no one really paying attention to them or watching them, it de-stresses them, and I think their performance raises tremendously. And the other benefit for student recordings would be that it increases their self-esteem and it motivates them because it is an alternative methodology for teaching. And I think the best part for students is that they can have repetitive learning. So if you make a video and they don't quite get it the first time, they can keep playing it back over and over again until they learn the materials that you're presenting in your lecture. So why do I use it? I think it's very user-friendly for both teachers making the curriculum, the videos, as well as for student recordings. And it addresses our need to teach to different learning styles. It's a very visual tool, but also auditory at the same time. And hands-on, especially if you're engaging the students through their own student recordings. And it adds a lot of variety in the classroom for addressing your teaching methods in a different way. It allows instruction 24/7. I've used it several times during snow days, or also I remind students that they can tap into Tegrity through Angel or Canvas if they're out sick, so there's no loss of classroom time for the instruction piece. And I think that's it.
Okay, great. So I prepared a few questions and we'll just kind of get into that. So how long have you been using Tegrity's student recording feature and what prompted you to begin using it?
I think it's been about 2.5 years I've been using it, and what prompted me is that because it was so easy to teach students how to do it, and teaching English as a second language, it's a great pronunciation tool, but also I think I mentioned earlier, the best part is it really motivates them towards their own learning, and it makes them responsible and puts them in control of practice and learning technology tools. A side benefit is, as I mentioned earlier, there's repetitive learning, but with the students doing their own recording, there's repetitive practice for them. They want to get it so perfect that they keep recording. They'll do 2 or 3 recordings. So that's assisting them in learning the material much better than just doing it one time. And some of the things to watch out for as the instructor when you're having students doing their own recordings is you want to make sure, first of all, that you go into settings and you check off enable student recording. I don't know how many times I've done that, and at the beginning of the quarter, once you do it one time, then it remains active for students. And another thing to watch out for is making sure that their equipment is operating correctly, that the headphones are plugged in, that you do a test run the very first time. And actually, I have them do a test run at the beginning of any recording, that they make a recording for maybe 30 seconds, download it or upload it, and then test it, preview it to make sure that the voice is coming through properly. So that's definitely one thing, because if they spend 10 or 15 minutes on a recording and then it's not produced effectively, it's going to be very frustrating for you and the student as well. The other thing to look out for is preparation and organization. I would recommend demonstrating first in the classroom how you do the recording. Go through step by step, showing them the directions, showing them how to stop it, pause it. Another thing that's very critical, I don't know how many times they put it on pause and didn't realize they kept talking and didn't unclick the pause button. So that's pretty important as well. But in a nutshell, I think students have fun with it, instructors have fun with it, and it's a great way to teach, and it's a great way for students to learn. Thank you.
So some students may worry that other students can see their recordings. Can you talk a bit about the security of this feature?
Yes. Again, in the instruction settings, you can click where only the students can only see their own recordings. Now, for my purposes in my classes, again, it's repetitive learning because I let them listen, and we get permission of the students that all of their videos can be available to the rest of their classmates. And so it's a great learning tool. It gives them ideas, so they can even listen to other students' videos first and then make their own, or you can have it closed where each student only sees their own recording.
Great. And so from your perspective or experience, what's been the overall student reception of student recording?
They're nervous at first because they have to get over the idea that a camera is on them per se. And that's another thing. If you're in a lab setting, normally in our public labs, we don't have the webcam. If students want to practice at home on their laptops, most laptops have the webcam. But they also have the option of switching the camera off of them and just putting any picture that they've downloaded. So until students get comfortable with that, the alternate picture, instead of seeing themselves initially, may be a good idea to go. Overall, I think the student reception is excellent because, again, there's repetitive learning, they're performing much better, they have control over their own recordings. It offers variety in the classroom to address their different learning style. And I think one of the biggest pluses would be the self-esteem is raised so much because they've created a project, they can see the results immediately, and I usually give them the link and they share it with other classmates and with their family members. So I think it's a great tool. I love using it, and students love using it as well.